Hi and welcome. We're so glad that you joined us tonight. And tonight we're just going to talk a little bit about Mary Kay. And I don't know why you joined us. I don't know if Mary Kay is something you're thinking about. I don't know if your consultant bribed you to join us. But Jill and I, this is Jill Smith. I'm Mary Beth Pfeiffer. And we're just going to chat a little bit tonight. Maybe answer some of your questions, or maybe we might even create some questions in your mind that you want to talk to your consultant about. So I have to tell you that when I was introduced to Mary Kay over 30 years ago, it is not something I would have thought that I was going to do. In fact, my mother started this business because she was an officer at the bank, and she loved her job. But they had just built their home of their dreams, and my dad found out the company he worked for was going to be closing, and so she started looking for something, and she decided to start her Mary Kay business. And I did what any 20-some-year-old would do, is I told her she was crazy and that she shouldn't do this. Now, I was not real positive for a couple of reasons. The first reason was because I didn't know a lot about Mary Kay. I wasn't educated about this company at all. And the second was because I too felt some dissatisfaction in my life, but I had settled into status quo. And when you settle into status quo, sometimes change scares you. So those two things were preventing me from being positive about her decision. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask Jill a few questions. Jill, tell me about when you decided to start your business, and why did you decide to start your business?
Sure. I started actually the day before I moved to a new city. And I was a college student at that point, and I had never used the product before. I didn't know much about it. I thought it was for older women who didn't have much else to do. I was not educated on it. And I thought that I was single. It was just something that it sounded fun. I liked the income opportunity and just the possibilities that the opportunity was presented to me. So it was kind of fun and exciting. And then I started Mary Kay, and then the next day I moved, and I thought this was a terrible idea because I moved to a place that I didn't know anyone. And then I realized that I'll probably meet people and they probably will have skin. So I thought that would be a bonus. And that is, I guess, something that I think a lot of people have is where would I find any customers? So I certainly had that on the forefront of my mind. And I thought this could be bad, but you meet people all the time and you don't even realize that they are nice too.
And didn't you find that it was maybe even easier because you had a reason to meet people?
Oh, for sure. It wasn't, it was more intentional. And I didn't have any friends, I guess, here. And I thought I had a lot of friends anyway, and I didn't need any more. But it was really nice to know people that were in proximity of me. So I would say I didn't start for friends, but I would never leave because of the people.
And I think one thing that's interesting about Mary Kay is you can really get whatever you want from it. You can do life through Mary Kay. You can sprinkle it in, or you can turn it into a career. Jill started her business when she was in college, but how quickly did you win your first car in Mary Kay?
I was a little over 6 months, and I didn't know that. I always thought it would be fun to have a free car, but I didn't know that it could actually happen to me. And so my other part-time job that I had was not giving away free cars as bonuses.
They weren't?
No, I had never found one of those before. So I thought, if they are giving them away, then I must have one. I must get one. Why not?
So Jill, I'm sure that you had somebody supporting you through all of this.
Yes, but I also had a lot of people who did not support me. And they laughed at me, actually, when I first started. And I'm a little competitive, so it kind of maybe hit some buttons that were good for me to move. And it wasn't necessarily that I had to prove to them that I would be successful, but it just made the gears go a little faster.
Well, again, you do sprinkle Mary Kay in your life. And when I started, I was in my mid-20s and made the decision to do this as a career, but I was married at the time. And Jill, talk a little bit about your journey as being a single woman and supporting yourself solely on Mary Kay.
Well, I didn't ever know what it was like not to support myself and pay my own bills. So I thought, if the bills are going to get paid, I will go to work. And a lot of people think that if you do Mary Kay, it's very hobby-like. And yes, you can do that. And I think that's successful too. But if I was going to pay the rent, then I probably wasn't going to treat it like a hobby. And I found that if you have a purpose, then it doesn't really matter how long you have to work or what you have to do, because our work is not exactly like some people's. It's not that kind of physically challenging. And I thought a lot of people looked at me that I was silly that I could even sell a lipstick tube and pay the rent as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really impressive that the marketing plan and the money trail in Mary Kay is so impressive, and there's nothing else like it. And if I went and had gotten a part-time or 5 part-time jobs, I probably wouldn't have made as much as I had with my Mary Kay.
Well, you know, one of the things too that one of the reasons maybe I was a little bit negative with my mother when she started this business is I had kind of bought into the whole idea that you needed to work for somebody else. You needed to go, you needed to put in hourly time, and you needed to be paid on a weekly, monthly basis consistently by somebody else. But, you know, one of the things that Mary Kay offers you is a residual income that you get over and over and over. So you're not paid for time, you're paid for effort. You put in effort and you get paid over and over and over. Plus, you can do this business absolutely anywhere. So Jill shared that she started her business right before she moved to a different city, and then she built her business in that city. And so tell me a little bit about your life now, and how does Mary Kay fit into your life now, Jill?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hung out in that city for a long time, single, doing my thing, and then I decided I should change things up drastically in the last 11 months. And so I got married. I moved to a very small community, and again, I didn't really know anybody except for my future husband. My family lived in driving distance, we'll say that, but I didn't know anybody in that exact spot. So I kind of thought, oh, I'm doing it again. I really apparently like this move, change, and meet new people. But it was a great way to get my foot into the door as far as meeting people, because I probably wouldn't know even my neighbors if I hadn't been in Mary Kay. I heard once that the thing that kills neighborly communication was the air conditioner. Because everyone used to sit on their front porch, mm-hmm. and once the air conditioner came, everybody went back inside. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing that killed the neighborliness, is that a mm-hmm. word?
It's a great word.
Okay. Is the attached garage, because we go in our little bat cave and the door shuts, and then mm-hmm. you go in your house and you're not neighborly. And so with Mary Kay, I guess we're so used to looking at a screen and maybe typing or texting mm-hmm. a little too much. Maybe you don't have that problem. But
don't we all have that problem?
So I found that it was just another way that I could communicate with people. And it was because of Mary Kay. And I probably would have just communicated with my little screen otherwise. And now we're expecting our first baby. And that'll change a little bit as mm-hmm. well. Mm-hmm. So, but I love that I could take it with me, and I didn't have to worry about getting a new job, because I really don't know what I'd be doing there. And actually that's the key thing. A lot mm-hmm. of people don't like what they do. Mm-hmm. And I still get to go places that have a few more stores that I can shop at.
And deduct when you go there.
Right. In a free car. I figure that's why we get free mm-hmm. cars, is to drive mm-hmm. to those places. Mm-hmm. So I think I get the best of both worlds with it.
Great. So one of the things that Mary Kay offers you is like Jill mentioned, a paper trail, different avenues of income so that you can build your business, you can build your retail business, you can build a team all over. So Jill, I mean, how did it feel to build a team now? You've built one in the city, and now you're working in a more rural area. I mean, how does it feel to work your avenues of income in all different areas?
I've learned a lot, especially about people. We're in the same state and there's still big culture differences. But yeah, I think people all have the same desires, and it's to matter and to make a difference and to, I guess, make a stamp, their footprint, so to speak. And so I like that we do have the freedom to not just be stuck in one little 3-block radius if we don't want to. I get bored easily, so it's a good thing that we can. And then I have women that are out of state, and women move. We have the choice to do that. So I think it's to our benefit because those people teach me something all the time.
Imagine being able to have a business and pick it up and take it anywhere you want to go. I've moved several times in my career, and to be able to have, it's just like you pack it up in your moving van and you move it with you, and you build an entire another network wherever you go. And so it's very transit, and it's always with you. You know, I've had the opportunity to sprinkle it in, have 3 children, raise 3 children to adults, and now have the freedom to go out and build whatever type of income that I want. And so we have women who come into Mary Kay to make an extra $50 a week, and we have women that come into Mary Kay to make an extra $50,000 a month. It's really what you want to do with the business. So Jill, we know that the money is there, and you make sure that you sit down with your consultant and really see the picture and get a business plan for you and see exactly where that money trail goes and how it gets to you. But Jill, would you share with me maybe what is the most personally rewarding part of Mary Kay? How has it changed your life personally?
That's a tough one just to pick one, you know.
Okay, a couple.
I would say the person that I was when I started is not the person that I am now. And I know that sounds like the cheesy answer, and we just timed that correctly to say it at this moment, but I think people underestimate when they do begin Mary Kay the self-improvement journey crash course that you just jumped into. And so even when I started, I was young and I didn't think a lot of people would take me seriously. But then I learned a lot about confidence and doing presentations, and I studied people and the people that I thought were really good at Mary Kay and had great communication and even just body movement. And I was offered many jobs that I didn't want, but it was because I had those skills. And I was not necessarily skilled. I grew up on a farm, and we pulled weeds out of, the beans and things like that. So it wasn't like I was doing that when I was younger. So I think that probably is the most valuable, and that we don't get bored in Mary Kay because we're always working on ourselves. And sometimes I don't really want to work on myself. I don't know about you, because it's a lot of work.
It is.
But yet it's so rewarding, because I know some people go to a job and they clock in and they clock out, and they never really think about how they could be changing. They don't. It's just such a robotic procedure that they do daily. And I think that's scary to think if I were to do that for the next 30 or 40 years of my life.
That falling into complacency and not challenging and going to work every morning, that was one of the things that I was dissatisfied with, was going to work when it was dark, coming home when it was dark, and not ever having that freedom or flexibility to do life. And in Mary Kay, you have the freedom and flexibility. When you work for yourself, you still work, but you don't put in 65 hours a week for somebody else. You control when that is. So there's another question that something I heard you say earlier, Jill, that I want to ask you. You thought Mary Kay was maybe for older women. Tell me what you found out about Mary Kay, the products and the company, and how contemporary it is. Share a little bit about Mary Kay, the company.
Well, I heard recently that there are 3 groups of people that are the fastest joining, and I would say very successful in Mary Kay. It doesn't mean that anybody can't do it, but the 3 groups, one was Gen Y, which is a very large group of young women and men. And I've studied a lot about millennials because I'm in that group, but we have been given everything all of our life, even if you didn't come from a very wealthy family.
Mm-hmm.
We could get what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people finish school, what they really want isn't always there, or it may take a really long time, and we're kind of impatient.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why the millennial, the Gen Y group is so successful. And then Latinas and retirees.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably the same thing with them. They're hungry for more and they want more. So it really doesn't matter your age. But I'm still really cute, and I've been in Mary Kay for a long time. Actually, I got cuter because I learned how to put stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be tanner than what I was, and I probably had the Oompa Loompa, line.
Can't imagine that, Jill. But
Yes. So I think that, well, my perception was totally wrong. And even in the last couple of years, even this year alone, all the new products and all the new things that Mary Kay is coming out, it makes me feel so good that we've been around for so long and have the heritage that we have. But we are cutting edge, and we never put anything out that is going to be a blink. We have our limited edition line, but if it's not something that they think will help us to become successful, they won't put it out there.
And it's really exciting to be a part of a company that has a policy to either innovate, be the first person to bring that to the market, or to wait and study and be the best. And so whenever you try a Mary Kay product, you just know that it's either because it's brand new and contemporary, or it's the best in the market. So that's a little bit about the company. But, I could speak a little bit about the baby boomers, or, getting close to that retirement age, because I'm on the tail end of the baby boomers. And one of the reasons why that area is growing so fast is because you could have been very responsible as a baby boomer and put away your retirement. And then we've crashed so many times in the last few years that retirement slowly slipped away. There at one point in time, we woke up and 60% of our retirement disappeared. And so women are looking for not only more, but security. And that's one of the things that working for yourself, you have security. The average college graduate is going to go through 5 different careers in their lifetime right now, I've done Mary Kay since I was in my 20s, and it's been a couple of years since that.
You're 25.
25, forever. But it always gives you that opportunity to grow and change with you, and that security, no matter where you're at, that you have control of your income. You can choose to make that $50 a week or the $50,000 a month. It's really your choice, whatever you want. So I want to thank you all for joining us. And what I would love to have you do is sit down with your consultant or sit down with us and ask questions. Find out how Mary Kay pertains to you, how it could change your life. How do you make your income? How do you create wealth for you and your family and your future? Because you can do that with this company. You have that type of control. So once again, thank you very much from Mary Beth Pfeiffer and Jill Deaver. We bid you good night.
Good night.